So smart data for schools is all about using current information held within their various systems, but delivered out in a way that really makes sense. So using smart data for attendance allows schools again to harness the data held in the MIS in another way, a quicker way to access it.
I think the education sector is lagging behind other sectors who are using these sort of new technologies and new approaches with data very widely now. Well, all organisations need to use data to understand how well they're performing, and schools are no exception to that. The problem with the way data has been used in the education setting recently is that it's been used to drive high stakes accountability, and this means that schools have been understandably focused on what that looks like in things like performance tables and the documents that Ofsted use to inspect them and so on. And there's been I think a missed opportunity to look at how that data is used actually to improve schools.
What we want is something that's live now, that you can intervene and help a child or a family attend more often.
Some of the key challenges that schools have with data is as soon as the data's cut, it's out of date. We're generally, traditionally, using data to justify rather than unleashing the power that data has in helping us support children. One of the things that attracted us to this platform and the open source data project is around actually it's forensically allowing us to identify the bit of data that we need rather than trawling through what is a very cumbersome information management system.
We know, as everyone does, that if you can't get children regularly in the building, even if you've got excellent teaching and learning, you cannot get them the success they crave and the outcomes they desire.
So the vision and passion behind developing the platform is focused on making attendance matter and not allowing any child to be missed. Leaders drive collaboration and drive better use of technology in their institutions. And we see this project and this platform being an enabler. It's enabling them to lead more strategically, see deeper, and not miss those children who could be lost.
Attendance is a really important issue for many schools. Problems with attendance are very difficult to work on because there are so many factors involved. One advantage of starting with attendance, though, is that schools record attendance in the same way, regardless of which local authority they're in. They all use the same codes and symbols, so it makes it easier to look at that consistently across several schools.
Critical to schools, you get this persistent absence per term, because actually the thing about persistent absence is it creeps up on you, and you should be able to spot who is likely to become a persistent absentee, in other words anyone under 90%, by the end of the year. Well, you don't want to wait to the end of the year to find that out. Now, I know a number of schools watching will think, well, we do that already. Of course they do, but I wonder if they know, because it won't be the head teacher doing it, I wonder if they know how labour intensive, under the management system we tend to use, how labour intensive that is, and how you have to take figures off and then work it out by hand and then put it back in. On this you can get that at the touch of a button and in one very visual screen.
So it's that readily accessible attendance data which is allowing us to spot patterns and react in the moment. It's real live data. It's also not shrouded in the dark arts of the information management system. The dashboard on 3 clicks allows me to understand, well, this pattern is emerging for this child.
The big advantage of this system is that it's possible to look at your own school in new ways and gain new insights by using these modern tools. But the real benefit in the Open Data project is collaboration. Schools can share their data and compare their data in safe and secure ways, but it then becomes possible not just to understand your own school's attendance, but also to compare it to other schools in your own town or your own local authority or across the nation.
Traditionally, your information management system resets in September, whereas the askEddi platform is allowing us to keep those trends as it's going through. It's very accessible, very easy to use on the dashboard, so our attendance officer is able to, 3 clicks of a button, really identify who we need to get alongside sooner rather than later. And it has had impact straight away.
Literally, at the click of a button, you'll be able to get that information rather than doing pivots and going through the back door to run reports. A student will come up and it will tell you there and then on one screen their attendance, whether they're free school meal child, whether they're open to services, and all that information.
Well, we've been piloting the Open Data project for 7 months now and learning from the experience of schools. Now we're ready for more schools to join in, so we're ready to go.
I've been in teaching 34 years. I've been through a number of iterations of Ofsted. I've been through a number of iterations of how to measure the performance of a school, and I can't remember at any one point at a sort of local level a group of schools being able to collaborate together on better opportunities.
Well, I think schools working together in this way can completely transform the school accountability landscape. This lets schools really concentrate on collaborating and learning from each other. What we really want is hundreds and thousands of schools to collaborate, because the technology, the machine learning technology, needs vast quantities of data to really learn from. So the more schools that join in, the better.
So as we move forward on the askEddi project and more bringing together of data in an accessible form, it can only have a positive impact on the work-life balance of teachers, of leaders, of support workers, because it makes it more accessible, so it makes it more efficient.
People just think you're looking at data, but actually you're on the front line, you're dealing with the families, you're dealing with the children, and you're dealing with a whole host of issues. So it could be that a child's not able to be in school today because mum or dad or carer hasn't got enough money to send them into school, they can't afford bus fare.
So you run less strategies, you run less intervention, you're running more keenly focused intervention because the quality of the feed in with the data is better. But it does all fundamentally come down to the power of more data.